So welcome everybody. I'm delighted to be joined by Sibeal Regan from the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group today. And we're going to have a little bit of a chat about the educational materials that they produce for schools. Sibeal, would you mind maybe giving me a little bit of information about the kind of, about the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group actually, maybe just to begin with?
Yeah, of course. So the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group is an environmental NGO. So we're a non-governmental organisation, and we really just advocate for the better understanding of cetaceans. So what cetaceans are, they're whales, dolphins and porpoises. And we do this really through education and research and citizen science. So there's 25 different species of whales and dolphins living in Irish waters, which is huge biodiversity. It's brilliant. And we basically need to monitor those and research, see where they are, what they're doing, who are they hanging out with, and then we can inform policy and marine protected areas and all of that kind of thing. So it kind of funnels down, but it starts with just getting a better understanding of what's happening in our oceans and around Ireland.
Wow. So I'm just thinking for teachers that are listening in today, whether they're at primary level or secondary level, what kind of way do you see this work, being able to slot into content that they're delivering in school, or how does it fit in with the curriculum?
Yeah, of course. So we've actually created an educational resource, and it's called Ireland's Blubber Book, Flukes Junior Volume 1. And this is especially good for national primary school teachers. And it was designed with the National Strategy on Education for Sustainable Development, all of the goals in mind. So you are hitting a couple of those points there on biodiversity and ocean literacy and stuff. So it kind of does tie in with the curriculum. But with secondary schools, in particular, TY transition year fits very well with us, because we have a TY program where we can take a couple of kids post-COVID, hopefully, into the Shannon Dolphin Centre down here in Clare in Kilrush, and we run a week-long program, and basically we'll just talk to the kids about what subjects would be beneficial in their leaving cert to get them into college, and also give them kind of practical on-the-ground skills and insight into what being a marine mammal biologist or a marine biologist in general is like. So we do some field work and we do some theory, and they get to look at some data analysis and data handling, which is always so fun.
Very important, though. Very important tool of all the work.
Yeah, exactly. But we make it a little bit fun. You get to match dolphins. So the dorsal fin of dolphins, they have unique finger. It's nearly like your thumbprint, your fingerprint, and we'll get the students to match and see if they can match individual dolphins based on their dorsal, which is really cool, and it's really practical as well, because you're using a lot of skills there that you can kind of use.
You are really, aren't you, like, of observing and kind of problem solving, almost trying to match up who's who.
Exactly. Yeah There's a lot of skills as well, even in the Blubber Book, of observation and problem solving and kind of using different ways to get around things and just thinking in different ways, which is always nice.
I was just thinking now, I'm very lucky because I am an owner of a Blubber Book of my own, and although my children are at the primary level and we would have used it here in the house with them, but I think some of the content that you've really gone into within the Blubber Book is it's content that older students, and I'm going to say adults, some adults are unaware of as well, or they're kind of complicated issues, which we tend to, like, I have to admit, I'm thinking now of your pages there, which deal with ocean acidification and cochleates. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. How, like it's such a complex issue, and how carbon dioxide is affecting the pH of the ocean, and how the pH of the ocean affects the living things and the biodiversity. You've really broken that down.
Well, yeah, this is it. It's a very comprehensive workbook. It does focus on whales and dolphins, but one thing that I would be very aware of, that the oceans and the ecosystem in general, it's all interconnected. Everything's connected. We're connected to the ecosystem, as are the cochleophores, these tiny little, you know, plankton. They're also connected to the largest blue whale. And so I felt that you can't really talk about whales and dolphins without covering the food chain and without covering all of these, you know, processes. So yeah, it's really important. It does give, you know, I've had a few adults come to me who work in marine science, and they were like, oh my God, that, you know, we didn't know that. So yeah, it's designed for students between the ages of 9 and 12, but definitely as a starting point, you know, the information in there, it's food for thought for any age group, really.
Yeah. And I think as an example of a piece of material, the way it's designed and delivered, like the content, it's a really nice example. So possibly even for a scientist who is looking at how do I take my topic and, you know, give this information to other people, it's a really, really nice example of
Great
that.
example.
You know, it's a really nice tool. Sibeal, just coming back then to, I suppose, other education at the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group. If I'm in a school and I'm maybe not near the coast, or I'm not near Kilrush in County Clare, is there any other ways that I can get involved? Is there other content on the website maybe that I can use in school, or?
Yeah, of course. So actually, one of our core funders, Inish Energy BC, they sponsored the creation of the Blubber book. And with that, we were actually able to give a free copy to any primary school in Ireland and in Northern Ireland. So all schools have to do, no matter where you are on the island, is email me at education@iwdg.ie, and I will send you a free copy of the book. And then what we ask you to do is go through it with your class and make observer notes. So there's sections at the back for observer notes. So I'm a marine mammal observer. We make observations all the time. And the idea is that you can also be an observer. So you make your observer notes, and there's also some worksheets for the class to work through as well. And then the teachers can get in contact with me again. And in the spirit of COVID, we're doing virtual workshops. So I will come to, no matter where you are, we'll come to you virtually. And then maybe, hopefully, you know, when restrictions do lift, we'll be able to travel and come to the schools too. But there's also loads of information and videos and lots of cool vocalizations of different whales and dolphins on our website, and fun facts that you can get involved with as well.
That's brilliant. Actually, that was kind of my next question I was going to lead on to. Like, if I'm not in a school, but I'm just really interested in finding out more information about whales and dolphins, you're saying I can go on the website and there's videos there, there's facts, there's sounds.
Yeah, of course. So on our website, IWDG.ie, there's an education page. And so it's kind of broken down a little bit as well. So there's kind of fun facts for younger kids, but it's applicable to everybody. And then we also have really cool videos about some of the species we have here in Ireland. We have a conservation page as well. So if anyone would like to get more information specifically about conservation and not so much fun facts and that kind of thing, it's all on the website.
Oh, brilliant. I'm just gonna ask you, I have to ask you, do you have a favorite? So you mentioned there was 25 species around Ireland, but is there one that really stands out for you? Or yeah, have you a favorite whale or dolphin?
It's so difficult. And you know, someone asked me this recently, and I said, can I break it up into mysticetes and odontocetes? So in the book you learn that we have mysticetes, which are baleen whales, so those are the really large whales, and then there's odontocetes, which are kind of the dolphin family, the toothed whales. And I said that would be so much easier because there's too many to pick, but if I had to pick one, it would be probably an odontocete, so a toothed whale. And they're really deep diving species. They're called sperm whales. And I tell you, they're one of my favorite species because they're just so extraordinary and unique, but they also are really important for carbon sequestration.
Well, you're going to have to explain that one now, Sibeal.
Exactly. So carbon sequestration, basically the whales can capture. So carbon is it's a greenhouse gas. It's really it contributes to climate change. So the whales are helping fight climate change, and specifically sperm whales and the deep diving species, because when they're swimming around and when they're taking in nutrients, they can store carbon in their blubber.
Wow.
Which is really cool. But they can also help take carbon out of the environment by mixing up the water column and helping productivity again. And so sperm whales are these really deep diving species, and they mix up the water column. So they capture all of this carbon, and they store it nearly like giant swimming trees. So they keep it in their blubber, which is really cool. And I think that's amazing. And other species also capture carbon, but I think sperm whales are just a really great example because they're also those really deep diving. And they're really funny looking as well. They've got these really big heads. Yeah. They're kind of like big, bulbous, fat heads. And I just think they're so funny looking. So
yeah. That's a good choice. I think that's well done now. I mean, you've obviously put a lot of thought into that. So I have to admit, I may have to rob that answer in the future. I'm just thinking if I ever get asked what's my favorite whale and dolphin, I might rob that one. No, it's good, and that's so interesting about how they affect water chemistry in just their movements, like by moving from upper areas of the shore into deeper.
Yeah, exactly. By mixing up the water column, especially those really deep diving species, they really help with it. And, another reason they all help this, but sperm whales are great as well because they're mixing up the water column, large whales like that can also help sequester carbon by pooing. So you were saying about nutrients there, and so when larger whales, when even the smaller ones, basically they eat lots and then they have to expel that waste, but that helps circulate the whole ecosystem because it gives nutrients needed by plankton again to grow. So it's all connected. And that's why, of course, whales and dolphins are at the top of the food chain. They're kind of a sentinel species. They help us. If we monitor them, if the whales are doing well, then chances are everything else is doing really well as well. So they're a good indicator species, which is really nice.
That's a really nice. That's a lovely link there as well. Because one of the things we've been talking about in this series is like, why is this work important, or why is it important to have these kind of education programs with schools? Why is citizen science important? And I think you've just kind of said it there, how it's all linked, it's all connected. We need to monitor the ocean. We need to monitor whales and dolphins. If they're not doing well, the ocean's not doing well. If the ocean's not doing well, we won't.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's all connected, and I really, in the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group, think that becoming an ocean hero and a steward for the oceans, it does start with our youngest citizens. Do you know what I mean? And if you can kind of foster a love and a passion and an awareness from a young age, then it can be carried through, throughout adulthood, and it'll kind of seep into society more. So you were saying, why is education important? It's so important for lots of reasons. And also, who doesn't love learning about whale poo? I mean, it's great. So
that's like the best topic for any class.
Yeah,
I think we could actually just dedicate a whole class on whale poo.
There's a whole chapter on it in the book, actually. So it all goes. Carbon sequestration and whale poo is covered.
Sibeal, before we finish up today, is there anything else you'd like to share? If there's any teachers or anything watching this video?
Yeah, just I think do get in touch. All of the resources are free. I'm happy to answer any questions or even work on new content with teachers as well. If there's a specific thing you want to bring into the classroom, we'll engage with you and work on it as well. And there's loads of resources obviously on the website. But just even if you don't live on the coast, we're an island nation, so you're not that far. We can make a good trip out, and the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group is founded on citizen science, so don't underestimate yourself no matter where you are. I'm not from the coast. I'm from inland, and you know, so we're an island nation. Everybody can get involved if you want to. So
I always say the same thing. I'm originally from Tipperary. Whoever would have thought I'd end up working with the ocean?
This is it. So, yeah, it's open to everybody.
Open to everybody, it is. One big ocean opens everyone. Sibeal, thank you so much for giving us your time today. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Thanks so much. Bye, Noreen.